Lesson 117, number 24. Here's an ellipse, and they want us to put it in standard form and graph it, and they want the center, and they want a whole bunch of things. So we'll get to those in a second after we get it in standard form. So to get it in standard form, you need to get the x's together and get the y's together, and then complete the square on the x's and the y's. So I got the x's together and the y's together. And then I have coefficients on my squared terms, so I had to factor those out. And then I completed the square on both of them. And then, let's see, I wrote them as in factored form. And then when I completed the square, when I added 1 here as my number that completes the square, I really have to add 5 because the 5 that's factored out here, when I go back and I distribute it, it's really the value that I've added to the left hand side is 5. So that's why I added a 5 over there. And the same thing with this. I added a 4 on the inside of the parentheses, but it's really a 16 because if I FOIL this back out, I got a 16, okay? So that ends up making 20, I think. There we go. Okay, and then when I divide, I have to have, standard form says you have to have a 1 on the end, so then I divide through by 20. Get some cancellations on my fractions. And then I get, end up with this. And then it asked me for the center, so I know the center is found by these two numbers in here, so it'll be -1, +2. When they want the length of the major axis, I look at which one has a bigger denominator. The y one does. So y is the major axis, which means it's vertical. And the length is going to be 2√5, because remember the standard form is you got an a squared and a b squared here. Well, if this is a squared, then a is actually, well, actually that's not even a, because a is the larger one and b is the smaller one, I think. But anyway, this one, the square root of that is 2, and the square root of that is, well, √5. So the length is going to be 2 times √5. The minor axis is going to be 2 times √4, which is 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, and then here's my graph, my ugly little graph. So I just graph the center at -1, 2, and then I look at this number. That tells me to go right and left by 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. Right by 2, left by 2. Square root of 5 is 2.23 or something like that. So I just went up by 2 and then plus some, and I went down by 2 and plus some and graphed it. And that's all.